Okay, we are live. So tonight we're talking about Canva, and I absolutely love Canva. A lot of you all that commented on the post that Amy said wanted just kind of where do I start Canva training? And so that's kind of what this will be tonight is just getting you started and introducing you to Canva. But before I do, I wanted to share just some things to get you thinking about why Canva is important. Why should you take the time to learn about it and to utilize it for your business? So first, I think we all know this. People like pretty things. And when you see an ad or a post, whether that's on social media or on TV, if it is appealing to your eye, you are more interested in it and you trust it more. Zaya has amazing products that we all love, but somebody who's never heard of Zaya, it might sound kind of foreign. And if the first impression that they see is maybe just some text about it without a graphic, or the graphic just isn't very appealing to their eye, they might think, is this really that great? Is it good quality? They might have a hard time trusting it. So we always want to create, a look to others that this is good, this is trustworthy, this is pretty. And so I hope that I can kind of give you some tools to up your graphic game a little bit and make some pretty things. I also wanted to share one other thought too about graphics, and that is that in this community, we share a lot of things. And that is so wonderful. We can share ideas of how to market things. Sometimes we share graphics. But I really wanted to share this point of people can use their graphics that they've created and become really successful. But copying their graphics won't necessarily bring you the same success. Your unique style is what will captivate your unique audience. And so I want to give you some tools and tips and tricks with Canva so that you can put you into your graphics. Because when you add you into your graphics, that's when you will see a lot of success. So when I say putting you in your graphic, I don't necessarily mean putting your picture on every single graphic. Having your picture on your graphic is great, and I'll share some tools on how to do that. But when I say you, I mean also your brand, your style, your feelings. When they look at it, do they see you? And if you're not sure who you is with your graphics, then I want to challenge you to take some time off. It won't be time off, but maybe it'll feel like time off, and scroll through Pinterest and look up different color palettes and styles and branding kits, and find something that kind of resonates with you and use that as a jumping off point. And it's okay if there's a lot of things that you really love, and it's okay if you change things that you love. So maybe a year down the road, you decide pink isn't really what jives with you anymore. You're more of an ocean blue girl. Like, that's okay. As you change and you grow in your business, your style may change. And so it's okay to pivot that. So with all that being said, I want to help put you in your graphics and teach you how to do that. I am going to share my screen and share with you some kind of basics of Canva. So let me pull this up and see what we can do. Okay. All right, so here is my Canva. It's loading for us. Okay, so here is Canva. So Canva has an awesome app that you can use from your phone. And I know we're all on our phones and it's really easy to use our phones. But I will say 99.7% of the time, I am always using Canva on the desktop because I just think that it's way more user-friendly. It's way more, it's so much easier to manipulate and move things and change things on the desktop. Now, if I am out and I have to get something done, I'll use my phone. If I'm just replacing a picture, so it's like a welcome graphic and I just have to switch somebody's picture and name out, you can definitely use your phone. But if you're trying to build something, save yourself lose the frustration and just go straight to the desktop. So I'm going to teach you some things on the desktop. So this is the home screen. If you click recent designs here on the left-hand side, that will show up all of your designs and what you're working on. So that's where I'm going to head first. And one of the great things about Canva is that because it's so user friendly, they give you a lot of templates and things to work off of. So if I click up here in the search button, I can search my projects. If I'm looking for something specific, I can type in a keyword of what it might be titled, but I can also click over here to templates and I can search templates to kind of get me started. Or if I wanted to make like a graphic that has a lot of video transitions, that's kind of hard to build from scratch. So I usually will start with a template. So there's that search feature I wanted to show you. Now, if you come over here, you see the Create Design purple button. So that's where we're going to start. And again, it will give you suggestions of, what size of graphic you want to use. And you can search that if you wanted a Facebook cover photo, you can search that and find that easily. I typically always use Instagram post. That's just the square. It works on Instagram, works on Facebook. When you have something that's really long rectangle on Facebook, it'll cut it off. And that's not a very good first impression to have people not be able to see your whole graphic. So I tend to stick with the square. And so tonight I'm going to show you how to create a graphic. I'm going to create a graphic with you. And we're going to do a product spotlight graphic because wherever you're at in your business, you need to spotlight a product once in a while. So I'm going to start with that, and I'm going to gear it towards like St. Patrick's Day, March themed. And just so you know, I cannot see the chat right now with me sharing my screen. So I will check that after we're kind of done here. But if you have a comment, feel free to jump in. So we're going to start building a product spotlight. I'm going to go through it kind of quickly, but I just wanted to show you a lot of different elements and give you just like a basic overview and see it in action. So here on the left-hand side, there's a lot of different features and tools. So we'll kind of go through them. But the first one is templates. And it's kind of like what I showed you on that main page. But these are all going to be squares because we're working with the Instagram square. And so I can search keywords to find something. So for St. Patrick's Day, you can see I've already looked up Christmas and holiday and other things. You look up sale. But for St. Patrick's Day, I'm going to lean into the rainbow side more than the green leprechaun side. So I haven't pre-decided any of this, so we're just going to do it together right now. So I looked up rainbow. There's lots of different rainbows. And I think that I'm going to choose, so you can kind of scroll through, decide what you like. I'm going to choose this one. It has lots of cute, fun rainbows. So when I click on it, it will pop up right here. Now, let me show you one thing here. If it has a little crown, that means that you have to have the pro version of Canva in order to use it. Or you can use it, but you'll have to pay a small fee when you're downloading it. You do not need pro version of Canva to be successful with Canva. I started using pro Canva personally, probably like 3 months ago. So literally for years, I just went with the free version because I'm cheap. And if I can get it for free, that's what I'm going to do. But I'm going to just kind of show you some of the pro version tools you can use if you decide to upgrade or if you already have the upgrade. So I'm going to work off of this template that I have here. So I have some text here and I have all these fun rainbows. So like I said, we want to put you in your graphics. So for me, I love navy and gold. I just painted all of my kitchen cabinets navy with gold accents. My wedding colors were navy and gold. My daughter's name is Navy Gold Rep. I love navy and gold. And so if I were creating a graphic, that is some elements that I would want to put into it. So I'm going to show you how I could work that navy and gold that resonates with me into this graphic. So, oh, thank you. I just figured out how to find the chat. So thank you. I love her name too. So if I click on one of these rainbows, you can see in the top, it'll show me the colors of the rainbow. And so if I click on it and I wanted to change them to all be navy and gold rainbows, I could. I probably wouldn't, but I could. And so I can just click on the color that I want. And down here, it will change anything that was that green color, it will make it that blue color. So I'm going to change all. You can see it kind of changed it throughout, so you don't have to go through and change every single little thing. So I'm going to do that again. This is going to be really blue, I think. And then I'll do that again with this kind of brownish gold. So it didn't change all of them, right? It only changed the ones that were those colors. So I'm just going to leave it at that, but to not spend too much time. But you can see how I could change all of those to match whatever colors and vibe that I'm feeling. Then I'm going to come over here to the font, and I'm going to change it. We're going to spotlight Bomber Bras. So I'm going to change that to Bomber Bras. But I don't want to use this font, so I just click on it, and you can come up to the very top, and there's lots of different elements here. So we can change the font to be something else. So you have your recently used ones here. So if there's something you really like, it'll be found here. You can also search different types of fonts. So if you wanted it to be, like it says up here, calligraphy or really bold, you could search bold, different things like that. So I am just gonna pick a font to use for our purposes. I should have thought about what font I wanted, right? Let's see, let's just use, sorry, now it's slow. We'll just use this font. I'm not sure what it's called. So if I want to make it bigger, just like anything, you can change the size up here. You can also stretch it. So I really tend to like to stretch it because then I can, change it a little bit more. So I'm going to add that here. Now you can change the color of the font, just like we did before. You can, some fonts will let you bold it, some italicize it. You can change if it's centered. You can make a list. I'm going to talk about the spacing button in a little bit. But here is the effects. And this is something that just really instantly makes your graphic just pop. And that is, you can add a shadow to it. And then you can adjust some of the settings. So you can change the color of that shadow. I'm going to make it darker. And you can kind of just change where it's at. You can lift it. You can make it hollow. So it's just outlined. You can have it outlined with a color behind it. This is how people will make things neon and pop. You can curve it. So there's lots of fun things that will instantly make your graphic look like you have put a lot of time and work into it. And so I always think that it's a good idea to at least add a shadow to it because, like I said, it just brings some depth and makes it pop. So I'm just going to add this little shadow to it. I'm going to make this a little bit bigger. Now you can probably tell right now that those rainbows, as cute as they are really distracting to my text and what I'm trying to do. And so that's where I'm going to show you a couple other elements along this top bar. So right now I'm just going to take out my text so I can just work with the background. And I like to just use the shortcut Control or Command X, and it just cuts it out. So now I just have my rainbows here, and I am going to select all of my rainbows at once by just dragging and selecting them all. This way you could group it, and then I can move them all at once. You can change the position, which I will show you that feature in a little bit. But I'm going to do the transparency, and I'm just going to make them a little bit more transparent so that they're there and they're showing up and they're cute. They're adding to my color scheme, but they're not the main focus. And then I'm going to do Command V and add my font back, and that will just help it pop a little bit more. And I'm going to change this font so that we can see it a little bit better too, because that pink is just not working for me. So there's the transparency of it. So those are some features up here above that I wanted to share with you. Over here back, if we're going back on this side, we use the template to help us get started. Now we can go over to elements. And elements, again, just like the other search bar, you can search anything. We could have searched rainbows in here. We could search sparkles. We could search a dollar sign. Anything we want to use, we can search. But they also have some suggestions here. So there'll be recently searched things. Canva automatically suggests some things that they think I might like based on the fact that I have rainbows on my graphic. And if you scroll down a little bit further, it'll give you frames. So these frames make it so easy to plop pictures in and out. And you can just scroll through frames for a long time. There are so many frames. I have not even seen all of them, I'm sure, because there are so many. But the one that I want to use is down a little ways, and it's a circle frame, but it also has a frame around it that we can change the color of. And I personally really love that outline. So I always scroll down to find that one. And then just like we edited the font to be a different size by stretching it, you can do the same thing with the frame with these white circles, and you can just stretch it to be whatever size you want. And I can go through and change that background circle to be a different color. So I'm going to do that. And then since we're spotlighting a graphic, I want to show that graphic in more than just one photo. And so I'm just going to copy this circle, make it a little bit smaller. I'm going to layer it on top of each other because I think that adds that depth, just like the shadow. It just gives it some dimension. And I'm going to change that outline circle again, just to give it a little dimension. And now I already went and pulled some bomber bra graphics. So over here in uploads, this is where everything that you upload is. And so I'm just going to drag from my desktop these two bomber bra pictures. And they will show up right here in my uploads. And then I will be able to drag them from my uploads right onto my graphic. Let's see if it worked. My internet is lagging a little. You can also, instead of dragging them into this upload section, drag them right onto your graphic too. It makes it very easy. Hopefully this shows, otherwise I might have to substitute pictures. Okay, here they are. So I'm going to plot these two different pictures in here just to highlight some of my favorite bomber bras. And the great thing about this, and then using this as a base if I wanted to make a Havana product spotlight, is I don't have to delete the pictures out. I can just drag a new picture on top and it will automatically take up that space. Looks like I uploaded them a few times because I wasn't patient enough. Okay, let's let this get in there. So you can see maybe in these uploads that it says limited size on my graphic, and I don't want that to show. Some people do, they want to highlight that, but I'm hoping by the time I'm posting this that it's already restocked. Sorry, I lost my words there. So what I'm going to do is I double click on the photo and it will show me the photo in its full beauty. And I can then zoom in by dragging out the photo and I can adjust, how it's shown and the placement of it. So you can it's great if you're trying to crop something out or zoom in on somebody who, maybe took full body and you want it to be a little closer. And then the last thing that I want to add on this is the price, the deal that I'm doing. So I can copy bomber bras and make new text with that, or you can come down here on the side and click text. And it'll give you some examples of different text and you can kind of edit from there. Okay, so trouble adding a picture in house. So you literally from the desktop can just drag it right on there and it will just add right where you put it. Let me know if that made sense or if you want more clarification, and feel free to jump on and chat with me too. But I can click any of these texts and it will appear here, and then I can add the information that I want. I'm about to show you something really cool that I really love about this. So let me, I So I'm going to make my bomber bras $22 for this sale. I saw a lot of people doing that today. So that's where that number came from. And then I'm also going to add in here that I want them to pay plus tax and shipping. I'm going to add that too. Yeah, I think that using it on desktop is like night and day easier. So try it on desktop if you have the time. I think that if you are in a hurry, you're just doing something quick, then the phone is easier, maybe on the go. But generally desktop would be best. Okay, so here I have my tax and shipping. Now, I'm sure you can tell that this tax and shipping is really spaced far apart. And that just does not look good. It looks like shipping is just out so far away from what I'm trying to say. So this is this magical button. If you come up to, let me move my little thing, come up to position. Oh, no, not position, sorry. Come over here to spacing. If you hover over this, it'll say spacing. You can change the spacing. So the line spacing is what will bring shipping closer to tax. So if I just slide this toggle over, it will automatically bring up that shipping, and I can kind of play with what I wanted. If I wanted them spread really far apart, I can take it the other way and it'll spread them really far apart, but I want them to be close. And even with how close the letters are, if I wanted my letters to be a little bit closer together, I can make them a little closer together. If I wanted them to spread out a little ways, I can go the other direction and I'll spread it out a little ways. And that is just makes the world of a difference when we're talking about that aesthetic look of your graphics. So now that that's closer together, I am going to slide it over just a little bit. My internet's lagging a little, so it's taking a bit, but that will just make it line up a little bit better. Now, one other feature that I didn't touch on up here at the top was position. This one is also a very cool feature. So let's say I have my bomber bra font. I just put it down here and I want to get it up here and I'm having a hard time making it centered and in the right position. You click on position and it will, you can click on center. It'll automatically center it for you. So it's right there in the middle of your graphic where I want it. And then you can click on if you want it to be in the middle of the graphic, the bottom of the graphic, or at the top of the graphic. So it'll automatically put it there at the top. Now this is a little bit too close to the top for me, so I'm going to slide it down just to give it a little bit of space. But I know it's centered and I moved it from the bottom all the way to the top, which makes it a little easier. No, one other thing with the positioning that I wanted to show you was if you have two different graphics and you wanted them to line up a little bit better together. I already have mine lined up perfectly, so it didn't give me the option. Let me pull all three of these. Okay, I clicked on all three of these graphics. This is such a time saver if you are trying to position it just right and it's not working. You can come over here to space evenly and you can tidy it up and it will just kind of like Mary Poppins, just tidy it right up so that everything is lined up in the same exact space apart. You can have it changed so that like you're lining it more horizontal. You can make them all go so that they're all on the left-hand side, but it's all based on how big your text box are. So you can see that this tax and shipping text box is a lot bigger than this one, and it's centered. So it lined up my text boxes, not necessarily my fonts. So it's a really great tool to use to get things lined up, but you have to make sure that your text boxes aren't too big or that or things are lined up with the alignment of like the font alignment. If that makes sense. So I wanted to be sure to show you that little trick too, because it does make a difference. It didn't work out as perfectly here, but you can also use that for pictures. So let's say you have 3 of these circle images and you want them all right in a row perfectly, you could select all of them and use that positioning button to line them up perfectly, so that they're not all kind of ski-wampusy. So that kind of covers the things here at the top. It covers most of the things here on the side. The only other thing I wanted to show you here on the side is photos. Just like the templates, just like the elements, you can type in any word and find a photo for it. So I could have typed in rainbows here, or I can type in the color blue. I was looking for watercolor that was turquoise. That will come up, and you can use those for the background of your graphics. So if you have a color scheme that fits you and this watercolor blue turquoise fits you, you can find lots of things to use as backgrounds for your graphics. So that kind of gives you a walkthrough of all these different elements. Remember that if it has that pro, that means that it is pro version. One other thing I wanted to show you with the pro version is how to cut out a photo with the background remover, because I know you've probably seen that a lot. And then how to elevate that a little bit and give it a shadow. So this graphic is great just the way it is. But we can use that as well. Yes. So cutting out the background, is that what you mean? Cutting out the background you can't use without the pro version, but these photo sections you can use without the pro version. Just most of them will be pro, but you'll be able to find some that aren't. So right here, I don't know if you noticed what I just did, but I clicked on this little 2 piece of paper and it duplicated. So it's the exact same graphic. So I'm going to use these same elements, but I'm going to show you it without the circles and using to cut out the background. So I'm going to come over here to uploads because I have my photo uploaded over there. I'm going to click on it and it will appear here on my graphic. Sorry, it's lagging a little bit. And then what that will come in, you'll click over here at the top. You can flip the graphic, which is not a pro. You can do that without pro, where you can flip it to be the other direction. So if I had my hand out this way and I wish my hand was turned this way, I can just flip the photo and it will automatically flip it. You can flip things upside down too. And then over here, if you click edit the image, that is where you can do some editing. So some editing you can do is just literally putting filters on it to kind of change it to be black and white or have a little filter on it. But the other editing you can do is cutting out the background. So let's give it a second to load. Okay, so it's right here, right at the top. It's called BG Remover, and it's a 1 button and it removes the background. I just think it's magical. If for some reason it removed part of the picture you didn't want it to remove, you're able to go in and take kind of a paintbrush and bring that part of the image back and still have the rest of the background cut out. Same thing if it left part of the background in that you wanted cut out, you can go in and erase that part as well. So you have the erase and restore buttons right here. But this should take out everything that we need, so we won't have to use those features. But I know sometimes when you take a picture and you have your mirror in the background or your nightstand, sometimes it leaves it attached to you. So you would want to use the erase button to erase it. So I'm going to click apply because I like the way it looks. It cut out that square that said it was restocking. So I'm just going to go ahead and pull this up to kind of crop it so that she doesn't have that piece missing from her side. I'm going to make her a little bit bigger and bring her down. You don't want her to look like she's floating. So if something is cut off in your photo, your arm or your leg or your foot, bring that to the side so that it doesn't look like you're floating in your graphic. It makes it look so much better if you have that line right where the graphic cuts off. So again, over here on the left, you can see there's some different filters you can do. And she looks great just as she is cut out. Such a fun feature to use. But one other feature I wanted to show you was the shadow. So again, you can see there's so many different things you can do to manipulate your pictures. And you can go and play with all of those. But cutting out the background and then adding a shadow just gives it that dimension and that depth. So you click on filter or shadow, sorry, and that you want to use it. If you haven't used it before, you have to tell Canva you want to use it. And then it will give you a few different shadow options. So it'll allow you to use like a shadow that just is half of her as a shadow, or it kind of makes her look like she's leaning forward as a shadow. I tend to just like when it shadows all the way around her, it kind of just puts a little rim around her. You can see all these different ones are starting to show up for us. Yes, I will show you how to erase the background. Let me just go over these shadows and then I'll go back. No problem. So I like the glow shadow. So if you click on glow, it'll again, just like the text shadow, will give you some options to change the color and the intensity of the shadow. It'll do the same thing if you click on it on these little toggles. So it's loading her to get her back into the right spot. So you can change the size. So if I wanted it, I'm not going to do this because my connection's a little slow, but if you change the size, it would make it like really dark around her. You can change the color of it. So if I wanted it like a bright pink behind her or something, I could change the color of it. But I think you can tell already, it just gives her a little bit more dimension and just makes your graphic look a little bit more pleasing to the eye. Okay, so going back to how to cut the background out, you click on edit image and then you just click BG remover and it will automatically cut that background out for you. You have to have the pro version in order to cut the background out though. So like I said, you can do lots of things without the pro version, but there's these few little things that make you want to bite the bullet and get the pro version. So that's how you would change and cut out the background. Okay, so that kind of covers some of those basic things that I wanted to show you. I showed you this side, this left-hand side, and what these different things do and the different things you can access there. And then I showed you the top different tools with the text and the changing the transparency of it, positioning the text, and that gives you kind of a good overview and basic of everything. I just want to reemphasize though, feel free to drop questions if you had any, but using those templates is a great way just to get you started on something, and then building it out and putting in your own elements and your own colors is a great way to go from there. So if you are wanting to add some video elements, you want to make your text bounce, go into those templates and look for those type of things, and then that will really give you a starting point to go after. So is there any other questions or things you wanted that you might have missed that you wanted me to go over before we end our call tonight? No, that's okay. Okay, I'm so glad that I was able to take some time with you guys and chat with you about it. Let me know if you do have questions, if you do need help. I love helping reps with graphics. I love helping you create something that puts you into it so that it resonates with your audience and the people you're connecting with. So hopefully this was helpful. Again, let me know if you have questions. Feel free to reach out to me. And I hope you guys have a great night. Thanks for spending some time with me tonight.